Welcome everybody to update number 62. So I've bought quite a lot since we last did an update, which was on 16th of February. So bought a fair bit. Some of them are kind of basic Blu-rays, but we've also got 4K, or at least a somewhat new 4K. Some from several different Blu-ray boutique labels, and a massive amount of films from Zavvi, as they had a sale on their American imports. So obviously they are region A. I'm not sure if any of them are region 3, but I have a region 3 Blu-ray player anyway, so that's no bother for me. So recently I went to HMV and I found a kind of a tasty pick up in terms of a quite a on sale film, and it is Taste the Blood of Dracula. So this was the fifth film in the Dracula series, I believe. Although I've not seen a couple of them, I don't think I've seen the Girls of Dracula, one of the female-led ones with Peter Cushing, and then I've not seen the direct one before this, I don't believe. But still, Christopher Lee, Hammer production film, so it's going to look great. It's going to have plenty of violence, and yeah, Christopher Lee is never a bad thing. I believe this is Warner Brothers. So this looks like one of their archive collection Blu-ray cases, but apparently it's not part of their archive collection in general by the looks of things. But still, should make for a good horror film. And then a new release from Fabulous Films, celebrating its 35th anniversary, and it's one of my childhood favourites. It's one of the few animated films I actually watched as a child. Generally, I'd only watch animated films from Pixar. Disney really wasn't there all that much, but yeah, this is one of the few that wasn't Pixar, and it is the BFG. It's originally made for TV, for ITV themselves, cost around £3 or £4 million, so quite a lot for what is a TV film. But yeah, absolutely glorious to revisit this. Surprised by how much remembered about it, because it's been a good 10-15 years since I watched this last. But yeah, fantastic film, great voice cast, really good music, and yeah, animation still for the most part holds up. And yeah, really rather nice addition. It has been slightly restored, I do believe. And you do get a bunch of special features like an interview with Roald Dahl, interview with Brian Cosgrove, who I think animated it. You got songs from the movie, photo gallery, and before and after restoration video. So, yeah, it's definitely had some restoration on the go for it, which is great. Been a fan of Fabulous Films because they usually, even though they don't put out, big limited edition releases or anything like that, as far as I know, they do at least put out films that I want to buy and own. And then we also have from Studio Canal's Vintage Classics. Two of them, both of them, in fact, are recent releases, as in were released this year. First of which is Circle of Danger, which, quite apart from a slightly anticlimactic ending, is a really rather good film, and Ray Milland is great in it. Get rid of the nonsense little bit of promo that's inside. Yeah, so printed disc. Got a few special features like an introduction by Jean-Baptiste Fauré, a Circle of Control interview with Christina Lane, Culture Clash interview with Imogen Sarah Smith, and trailer and stills gallery. But yeah, it's a really rather decent British thriller with an American lead, but that's part of the story at the end of the day. And then we also have Room at the Top. So I've not seen this yet, but I have heard really rather good things from it. And I'm pretty sure I've seen Lawrence Harvey in something before, and it's by Jack Clayton. So yeah, like I said, not seen it before, so can't really say too much about it, but I'm hoping it's going to be a good film regardless. And there's plenty of special features on it as well. We've got new Delana King on Room at the Top. Got an extract from BEHP audio interview with Sir John Wolfe, audio commentary with Joe Bottling, audio commentary with Neil Sinyard, behind the scenes, still gallery, and trailer. So, not quite sure who those people are. Maybe they are people that are in the film, but I don't know. Because, like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so going in blind with that film. And then we have one from Severin, who has finally started to release films over here in the UK. So this is a UK release, so it is region 3, A, B, and C on the back apparently, and it is Nightmares in a Damaged Brain. So again, not seen this one, but it looks like a rather fun and violent film. Quite expensive though for what is at the end of the day just a disc and the case and reversible artwork. There's no booklet, no poster, was 16.99. There was also a 4K version of this, but that was going for 30 quid. So yeah, I wasn't gonna go in for the 4K given I've not seen this film yet, but I'm sure the Blu-ray still looks pretty good. And yeah, there's plenty of extras on it again, but I'm not gonna go through them because I might well do a review on this one. So yeah, I look forward to seeing that at some point. Then we got a newish 4K from BFI, again released this year. Pretty sure it was only last month, and it is The Wages of Fear. Fantastic film. Easily one of my favorite French films. And yeah, already had this on Blu-ray, also from BFI, so I don't think the extras have changed all that much. But do get a printed disc and do get a booklet as well. Not sure if this is all new or not, but regardless, you got plenty of words going on in here. So yeah, look forward to reading that. And in terms of extras on the disc, yeah, it all looks like older stuff. There's nothing on here that is from either last year or this year. Oh, apart from a road trip out of hell or into it, Purgatory and the Wages of Fear from 2023, clocking at 15 minutes long. It's a new video essay by filmmaker and photographer Nick Wassell. But everything else here looks like it might well have been featured on the normal Blu-ray, so which is fine. But as long as there is something new on there, and the 4K I'm sure looks absolutely fantastic, because BFI rarely slack on their physical releases. And then I have a couple from Criterion Collection. So these were two of my favorite films two of my favorite films. I watched plenty of films that I gave 4.5 stars or more, but these were two of my favorites and two of the standouts from last year that I watched for the first time. First of which is Magnificent Obsession, directed by Douglas Sirk, starring Rock Hudson, and yeah, a glorious film. Blu-ray and 4K on this release, and yeah, the film itself looks absolutely fantastic. The way that Douglas Sirk did colour back in the 50s is just super sensational. Also get a really long bit of writing to go. Magnificent Obsessions by Jeffrey O'Brien. So yeah, a lot of writing there to read through, but still, good shots from the film as well. So yeah, it's a superb film. Highly recommend it if you've not seen it. But is it equally superb? Is another Douglas Sirk film, and it is All That Heaven Allows. Again, starring Rock Hudson. Right around the time that Magnificent Obsession was released. So Magnificent Obsession was 1954. This is 1955. Although it is arguably shorter. Yeah, Magnificent Obsession is 108 minutes, and this is 89 minutes. So a little bit shorter, but no less of the film, quite frankly. And yeah, more of a traditional booklet in this one rather than the fold-out one. But again, absolutely sensational film. And yeah, like I said, more traditional booklet. So in this, we've got the chapters, we've got casting credits, then we've got an articulate screen by Laura Mulvey, then Fassbinder on All That Heavens Allows, and then about the transfer. So yeah, it's a superb film. Again, Rock Hudson's great. Um, Jane Wyman's also great in it. Agnes Moorehead. So yeah, really good cast. Again, a fantastic looking film. The way that Douglas Sirk really did colours back then is absolutely sensational. We also have a box set. So yeah, it's probably not the thing that most collectors buy. It's probably the more casual collector that buys these kind of things. But I've bought all the other box sets in this universe, I guess you can say. So I figured I might as well get the last one before buying the other films in individual releases. And it is a Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 3 Part 2. So not my absolute favourite part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as there are a couple of films in here that I'm a little less favourable on. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that I am favourable on. So 4 out of 6 is not bad. And yeah, they are the following. So you got Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and Spider-Man: Far From Home. So, yeah, for the most part, a great series of films. And yeah, as per usual with these ones, you get an individual poster, individual Art Deco style art cards for each film, and each film is on its own individual disc as well. So, as you can see. So I like the way they did these box sets. To be honest, it's a shame that I'm not going to bring any more out because Disney is completely against doing anything for the consumer anymore. By the sounds of things, also get a bonus disc as well. So yeah, but it's just a little bit of a shame that they're not going to really be doing these anymore. Because I really, really like the way they did these box sets. To be honest, and yeah, at the end of the day, it got it really, really cheap from Zavvi. Not only was it down from £40 to £20, but then it also got another 20% off that, so it's 15.99. So can hardly moan too much about a nice looking box set that has plenty of physical extras to it and is 6 films for only 15.99. So yeah, very, very cheap. And then finally, another bunch of films from Zavvi. Now these were all on sale from the American import sale that they had on. So firstly, we have something that is available in the UK, but it was a lot cheaper to buy it via this American import sale. So it is High Sierra, another Criterion Collection release. So another fantastic film with Humphrey Bogart, and Ida Lupino is also fantastic as per usual. Directed by Raoul Walsh, who we've recently looked at with the gangster film. Oh my God, has it slipped my mind already? The one with James Cagney. Oh, it's slipped my mind already. Um, but I have done a review on it, I'm pretty sure. But still, this is a great film and another really rather fantastic effort from Raoul Walsh. So yeah, highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It is available in the UK, so you have no real issue getting it if haven't been able to get a hold of the American release on the cheap. Not as big as a, well, maybe it is slightly. Um, yeah, big write up. Cashing Out by Imogen Sarah Smith, and so forth. It's really bugging me that I can't remember that other Raoul Walsh film. Only recently just watched. I can't even see it immediately in my vicinity either. Oh, Roaring Twenties, that's it. Another Criterion Collection release. So yeah, it's right behind the camera. I just saw it then. And then we also got from World Cinema via Umbrella Entertainment, who I didn't realise sold in America, but yeah, directed by Tom Square. Run Lola Run. Really rather fun experimental thriller. So it's to hell with logic or you know whether or not something could physically or realistically happen, and just runs with it. And it's a really, really entertaining film, exhilarating film as well, because it only clocks in at what, 80-ish minutes, 80 minutes on the dot. So it's just in and out in no time at all. Really, really rather fun, and yeah, great lead performance as well from, I can't remember her name now. Regardless, really rather fantastic performance from her and her lead co-conspirator in this film. So yeah, highly recommend that if you've not seen it so far. I mainly got onto that because the director also did the music for the really rather underrated film Cloud Atlas. So that's the reason why that came on my radar to start with. And then we've got an anthology horror film with a fantastic cast, The Uncanny. So you got Peter Cushing, Ray Milland, and Donald Pleasance. Three horror, well, two horror icons and one icon in his own right. So yeah, really rather fantastic horror anthology about Peter Cushing trying to convince another person that cats are trying to kill off humans and take over the world. And as a fan of cats, I just found them adorable. But cats in horror films have always been a bigger drawing point for me. You only have to look at the likes of Cat's Eye, for instance, or The Black Cat and its many iterations. Then, because I'm kind of obsessed with 1950s sci-fi horror, regardless of the quality of the film, and it is Monster from Green Hell. Not a great film by any means. I think I only gave it 2.5 out of 5 on the letterbox, but yeah, I'm a big fan of these kind of films, and just to get more of them is kind of my seemingly obsessive thing that I've gone going for. So yeah, like I said, not great, but 71 minutes, can't hardly argue against it too much. And yeah, you also get a little booklet with this one as well, which has the men behind the monsters. Sometimes it took an 18 to make a B movie by Don Stradley. So it talks about other films in here. So Please Murder Me. I've not heard of that one, so I'll put that on my list, especially given it's got Angela Lansbury, Raymond Burr, and Nick Foran in it. But I have heard of Giant from the Unknown, which I don't think I've seen yet. But yeah, I know a lot of people slate these kind of sci-fi horror films from the 50s that are on the lower budget side of things. Obviously, the likes of the War of the Worlds and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and it came from outer space, and Earth versus the Flying Saucers obviously had a bit more of a budget behind them than the likes of this. But I find them charming. At the end of the day, to get a film that actually is coherent and entertaining and engrossing in any kind of measure for such a low amount of film is always something that is, worth celebrating in some regard. And then we have more sci-fi films from either the 50s or early 60s, and it is the Edgar G. Ulmer sci-fi collection. So yeah, I gobbled this up. I know they're not great. Man from Planet X is really rather quite cheap, but it's effective in what it's trying to do. And at the end of the day, it made a ton of money, so it enabled Ulmer to go on to make more films. Beyond the Time Barrier is really rather quite cute and charming, just because it's really trying to be ambitious, but it just doesn't have the budget to back itself up. And then The Amazing Transparent Man, kind of a lesser Invisible Man, but still entertaining enough in its own right, especially given it was only, it's very short, it's only 58 minutes long, so can hardly argue against it too much. And yeah, it's got nice enough slipcover on it. And because all three films are not particularly long, the longest in fact is 75 minutes, we're all on one disc. Yeah, can't get Kino Lorber easily over here. That's why all of the film noir box sets that I got from them had to be bought by eBay, but the prices on those are always marked up. So it was nice to find something from them that was on sale for once. So yeah, that's why I jumped at the chance to get this. And there's a bunch of special features on this as well. You got audio commentary for the Man from Planet X by film historians Tom Weaver, David Shaker, Dr. Robert J. Case, and filmmaker Joe Dante. Got audio commentary for the Man from Planet X by film historian Gary D. Rose and Ariane Ulmer Sips, who's Edward G. Ulmer's daughter. It's always interesting when they bring the relatives or the children of people that have long since passed. The amount of times I've seen Vincent Price's daughter show up on documentaries is innumerable, and yeah, but it's always interesting to get their viewpoint on their parents' output. We've also got audio commentary for The Man for the Planet X by film historian Richard Harlan Smith. So you can see which film here is the one that's more highly regarded out of the three, given how many extras that has. You got audio commentary for Beyond the Time Barrier by film historians Tom Weaver, David Schichter, and Gary D. Rhodes. Then audio commentary for The Amazing Transparent Man by film historian David DeVell, and the theatrical trailers for all three films. So yeah, really rather nice set. I wish more of these would get released over here in the UK. Obviously, Eureka have done their sci-fi or horror sets, either with Boris Karloff or unrelated films that are just in a set together. But I just wish there was more of them. Speaking of not particularly great, but still entertaining horror films or sci-fi horror films from the 50s, or actually, I think this is from the 60s. Yeah, 63. The Horror of Party Beach, widely regarded to be one of the worst films ever made, but I actually find it kind of entertaining in its own right. So yeah, and especially again given the extremely low budget and the kind of things it's trying to do, I find it kind of respectable in that regard. So yeah, nothing perfect, but this is actually from Severin as well. So now we'll have a UK release from them and a US release from them. So who knows? Maybe this kind of thing will get released over here in the UK at some point, which will only be great. I'm not bothered if I've bought it at a higher price or not, just so long as more people get to see these kind of films. And yeah, got a bunch of extras on here as well. You got Return to Party Beach, a retrospective documentary on the horror of Party Beach. It's The Living End, an encounter with the Delaires, interview with band members Bobby Osborne and Ronnie Linares. They're the people that did the music for this, because party beach films back in the 50s, well, the 60s mainly, basically focus on teenagers, rock and roll music, and beach partying. And this basically mixes that up by putting the sci-fi horror into it as well. And then you got Shock and Roll, filmmaker Tim Sullivan on rock and roll horror movies, archival interview with director Del Tenney, and trailer. So yeah, I enjoy it. I know it's not going to please everybody, but there we go. And something else that's kind of in the same kind of vein from 1959, a film I've not seen yet, but it does look quite mad. Terror is a Man. So I think this is Severin as well. Yes, it is. So apparently, this is the original and best Filipino horror film. So quality on this could vary quite drastically, to be honest. But like I said, I've not seen it yet, so I can't really comment on it. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing it at some point. And but the only issue really is the length. It's 90 minutes, and now that is a little bit concerning. It could mean that there's some long stretches of boring moments to it. Usually, why these sci-fi horror films from the 50s work so well is because they are quite short. When they're under 90 minutes, or at least even under 80 minutes, they are really rather quite fun. But who knows? Let's see if an hour and a half film can do it. And then also we have something a little bit different. We have Turkey Shoot with Steve Railsback, who I've seen in Life Force, and Olivia Hussey, who was in one of the Psycho sequels. I forget what was the third one. No, actually, yeah, it might have been the third one. But yeah, this was huge fun, to be honest. A little bit sluggish to start with, but once the violence and the action kicked in, it was absolutely glorious. And yeah, that final half hour or so is absolutely superb. And yeah, another fantastic film from Australia, another exploitation classic. Right, second to last, and is another exploitation film, and it is called Death Cheaters. Which, yeah, although it kind of peters off either in the middle or towards the end, I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but the stunts in this are insane. There's literally driving around in a car in a vehicle that is just basically scaffolding wheels and an engine, and yet there's no helmets being worn. They're quite clearly going at some speed. The film's not sped up or anything like that, and yet they're doing some quite dangerous driving, and yeah, it's just absolutely mind blowing. But regardless, the film itself is pretty good. It's nothing mind blowing. Certainly not my favourite of the exploitation classics that we've had from Umbrella Entertainment, but it's still well worth watching. And you also get a comic book with this as well, like we did with another Brian Trenchard for Smith film that has slipped my mind. But yeah, regards, yeah, little comic book there as you can see. So yeah, I'm sure that's fun to read. And finally, in the film noir genre from Kino Lorber, clocking in only 80 minutes long, we have Shakedown. So yeah, this is a really rather fun film noir, to be honest. Got a really good cast: Howard Duff, Brandon Levy, and Lawrence Turney. And yeah, only in 80 minutes it flies by and is generally just quite fun. So yeah, highly recommend it if you've not seen it already. But again, being a Kino Lorber release, it's probably a little harder to get hold of over here than it would be in America, obviously. But still, regardless, there we go. That's update number 62. A huge amount of films, some nice special editions, some new releases, and plenty of stuff that was on sale. So, all in all, a really, really rather good last month or so. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen any of these films before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.